welcome or welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's Emma, and if you're not new here, it is time for another TBR video, except this time it's gonna be a little bit different. For the past 2 or 3 years, honestly, every time I've done a TBR video, it has been through my TBR jar, or technically bag, where I draw random prompts that help me decide what book I am gonna be reading to fit that prompt. However, one of my goals for 2026 was to let myself mood read more, and I have been very much in a mood reading mood lately, and I've been not so great about sticking to my pre-selected TBR. So instead of having the random prompts choose my TBR this month, I am letting you guys choose my TBR this month. I pulled 10 books off my shelves that I am actively interested in reading, actively in the mood to read, and I let you guys decide by putting them on my Instagram story and letting you guys vote in a poll. But I thought I would spice it up a little bit, and instead of letting you guys just choose the book based off the covers, I actually covered the books up and put 3 emojis that correlate with the book over the book and had you guys vote on them based off the emojis. I thought this was a fun way to still get random books on my TBR and get you guys involved in voting for them, but also still have books that I know I really want to read, so that I will hopefully stick to my TBR for the month of April. I put the polls up yesterday so that you guys could vote, and I tried to put books up against each other that were either the same genre or gave a similar vibe. That way, in the end, I would have a mix of different genres on my TBR. And this morning, I did take screenshots of the results. That's what I'm gonna be basing this off of. Voting may have adjusted or changed since then, but I'm gonna go based off the screenshots of the results that I took this morning. Starting off with our first poll, I had A Little Life by Hanya Yana-Giara, I could totally be butchering that name, and Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I chose to put these two against each other, one, because they're both on my list of 26 books I want to read in 2026, but they both also fall into the general fiction category. I've read other things by Frederick Bachman before and really enjoyed them, and this is one that I hear so much hype about, so I feel like it's just time for me to get to this one. But then also A Little Life, I often hear called the saddest book in the world. People on the internet can't stop talking about it, and I feel like it's just a rite of passage to read this book at some point. So these two felt very fitting to put up against each other. And the emojis I used were, for A Little Life, I did the sad crying face because I've heard this book is super, super sad and devastating. I also did a little black heart. I did a heart just because I know that there is love and relationships that get explored in this book, but also the black heart kind of fit the cover because we have some darker tones going on. And then I also did the handshake emoji because I know this story is following a group of friends over, I think, 40 years, and the handshake, I don't know, I guess that was meant to represent friendship. And then for Anxious People, I did the anxious sad face because literally the word anxious is in the title. And then I did a home emoji. I actually got that emoji off of ChatGPT because I was having a hard time coming up with emojis to use for this book. So I'm honestly not really sure why the home correlates with this book, but ChatGPT says it does. And then I also just did the little red heart with the bandage on it because I believe there's some type of storyline about repairing relationships in this. Both of these two books are books I know a little bit about, but not a lot about, and that's the way I want to keep it. I want to go in pretty blind to these books so that I can get the full experience. So if you've read these and you think those emojis don't match up, apologies there, but these were just the best ones I could come up with. And between these two books, A Little Life got 40% of the votes and Anxious People got 60% of the votes. That's decently close, but Anxious People is the winner here, and it will be going on my TBR for the month of April. Next, I put 2 different fantasy books up against each other, one of which is actually a novella, and that is Fearful by Lauren Roberts. This is in the world of Powerless, which is one of my favorite young adult, new adult fantasy romance series of all time. It is so good and so addicting. And I could be wrong, but I believe the characters and plot we are following in this overlap with the final book in the trilogy. So I'm just excited to get back to this world and back to these characters, and the other novella in this world I really enjoyed, so I feel like I'm going to love this one as well. This is also on my list of 26 books to read in 2026. And then my other option was A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the same author that wrote the Bridge Kingdom series. I believe I've read the first 4 books in that series and really enjoyed them. They're definitely not favorites of mine by any means, but I had a really fun time while I was reading them, and I've been intrigued to read more things by this author. Plus, I received this as a book of the month book probably like, it's maybe been 2 years at this point, and I am making it a goal to get through more of my unread book of the month books. The emojis I used for Fearful were a dagger, because just knowing like the characters in the story, I feel like they all carry daggers, and it's a fantasy and it's very cutthroat, so that seemed fitting. I also did the little pink flower emoji, and that is literally just because of the cover and the pink flower petals. I just thought it fit so well with the way the book looks. And then lastly, I did the gray heart, because the main character of the series is named Peyton Gray. So gray because gray, but also the heart because there's some swoon-worthy romance in this series. So it fits for like 2 different purposes, and that's why I went with the gray heart. For A Fate Inked in Blood, I did the blood droplet emoji because literally the word blood is in the title. I also did the crossed swords. This one I picked just because, again, a fantasy book, I'm assuming there's gonna be some type of swords or daggers or that type of like medieval fantasy weaponry. And then I also did like the little magic orb, whatever you would call that, but I feel like I associate that with like reading your fate and mystical stuff and all of that. So very fantasy vibes, but also again, the word fate is literally in the title, and that was the emoji I found that I felt correlated the most with it. And between these 2 books, Fearful got 57% of the votes, and A Fate Inked in Blood got 43% of the votes. So because of that, Fearful will be going on the TBR for April. But I am really excited and hopeful to get to this book at some point soon. Next up, we have 2 contemporary romance books, both of which I am so excited to get to. First, we have Just Friends by Haley Pham. If you don't know who Haley Pham is, you need to look her up right now. She is one of my favorite booktubers of all time. I've been watching her for years, and this is her debut romance novel. So just because I love her so much, I've been very excited to get to this book. I believe it's a Friends to Lovers. I've heard it has really beautiful flowery writing, so I don't know, I'm just excited to read it and see what I think. It's been on my radar for a while, and it also is on my list of 26 books in 2026. And then the other option was Play Along by Liz Tomford. I am currently reading the book that comes before this in the Windy City series, which is a sports romance interconnected standalone series with the best found family trope ever. This series in general was on my list of 26 books to read in 2026, and I was not anticipating to love it as much as I am. I am literally flying through the books, eating them up, so I have a feeling I'm gonna be ready to jump into this, which is the next book. For Just Friends by Haley Pham, the emojis I chose were the 2 little circling pink hearts, the ray of sunshine, and then the little emoji that's like a boy and girl with a little heart between them. I chose those just because all I really know about it is that it's set in the summer somewhere, and obviously by the cover you can see they're by a body of water, so I'm assuming summer. And I also know it's a Friends to Lovers, so those emojis just kind of seem to fit with that. And then for Play Along, I chose the baseball emoji because, well, one, there's literally a baseball on the cover, but like I said, this is interconnected sports romances, and this one does follow a baseball player. Then I also included the little city emoji because it's called the Windy City series, because all of them are set in Chicago following different Chicago sports teams. So I don't know, I just thought the little nighttime city emoji would be perfect for this. And then I also just included the little heart with an arrow through it because, again, it's romance. And for these 2, I was kind of watching the poll. It was going back and forth between which one had more votes. But as of when I screenshotted it this morning, it is actually a 50-50 tie for both of these books. And because I am genuinely so excited to get to both of these, I think I'm just gonna break the rules a little bit here, and instead of doing a tiebreaker, we're gonna put both on the TBR because I feel like either way, I'm gonna end up getting to both of these books very, very soon. Next up on my polls, I had two very angsty, borderline dark romance books. Both of these are books that I really don't know that much about, but have piqued my interest, and I just want to get to them soon to see what I think about them. The first option is Drive by Kate Stewart. I have read the Ravenhood trilogy by Kate Stewart. It's been a while, but I really enjoyed those. I kind of had a love-hate relationship with them because they were so addicting and I was so invested, but I also found myself getting very frustrated with the characters. So I've been wanting to get into more of Kate Stewart's works to see how I feel about her other books. And shout out Luann, she actually mailed me this book and has been wanting me to read it. So I'm like, April might be the time that I need to finally get to it. I have a feeling I'm gonna love it, just like something in my gut tells me I'm going to, but I don't know. We shall see if it gets chosen for this. And then my other option is Hate to Love You by Tijan, I believe is how you pronounce the author's name. It has these beautiful sprayed edges. I got sent this in PR, and from what I know about it, it's an angsty sports romance. I've heard it be compared to Boys of Tommen, which is like my favorite series of all time, and I have been searching for something that will give me that feeling again. So because of that, I am very eager to read this book. For Drive, first of all, I chose the car emoji because the title is literally called Drive. Next, I chose the music emoji because I do know that music is a pretty big part of this plot and this story. And then lastly, I chose the little heartbreak emoji because, like I said, I know that this is a really angsty romance, and I'm wondering if maybe it will be sad as well. I'm not totally sure, but those three emojis seem to fit with the things I do know about this story. And then for Hate to Love You, I chose the most literal emojis I could think of. I have the angry face for hate. I have the fire emoji because I do know, again, it's an angsty, maybe possibly steamy, spicy romance. And then I also chose the heart for love. So Hate to Love You, it just seemed fitting. Between these two books, Drive got 52% of the votes and Hate to Love You got 48% of the votes. It was very, very, very close, but Drive is our winner, and I'm very, very excited to be getting to this in the month of April. For our last pairing, we have two historical fiction books. At least I think they're both historical fiction. One of them I know for sure is. The other one, I'm just like pretty sure it is. It could be considered general fiction though. I'm not totally sure. We have The Favorites by Lane Fargo. This is a book I've been hearing about for so long and have been wanting to get into. All I really know about it is that it follows figure skaters in the Olympics maybe, and people have compared it to Daisy Jones and the Six, which is one of my favorite books of all time. So I have a great feeling about this one. And then the other option was The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I absolutely love Kristen Hanna. She does such a wonderful job at writing these historical fictions that feel so raw and real, and our female main characters feel so relatable and like you know them inside and out, and I don't think I've ever closed one of her books not crying. For The Favorites, I put the little ice skate emoji because, like I said, figure skaters. I did the little #1 gold medal emoji because, again, ice skaters, I think the Olympics might be involved, or at least some type of competition aspect. And then I also put the red heart because I'm assuming there's some type of romance or drama that goes on in this story. For The Great Alone, all I really know about this is that it takes place in Alaska and deals with like some survival elements. So I put a pine tree, a snowflake, and a fire, all just very like outdoorsy, scenic, survival, those type of vibes is what I get from it based on what I know about it. And while I'm very excited to get to both of these books, only one of them could win the poll, and The Favorites received 56% of the votes, while The Great Alone received 44% of the votes. So I will be reading The Favorites in the month of April, but I have no doubt that I'm gonna get to The Great Alone at some point in 2026. And those are the 6 books that will be going on my April 2026 TBR. To quickly recap them, we have Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. This is a general fiction. Fearful by Lauren Roberts. This is a fantasy romance novella. Just Friends by Haley Pham. This is a contemporary romance. Play Along by Liz Tomford. This is also a contemporary sports romance. Drive by Kate Stewart. All I know is it's romance. It might be dark romance. There might be some thriller aspects. I'm not totally sure. And The Favorites by Lane Fargo. Again, I know it's general fiction. It might be considered historical fiction. I guess we'll find out. I feel really great about the lineup we have for my April TBR. I really have a feeling I'm gonna enjoy all of these books, and because I've been in such a ready mood lately, this was just the best thing I could do for myself and for my TBR, and it was so fun to do the Instagram poll. So let me know if you guys would want me to do that again more in the future, or maybe even do something like that just for a reading vlog, maybe not even necessarily for a monthly TBR. If you guys are interested in checking out more of my content, I will have my Instagram, TikTok, and Goodreads linked in the description below, or you can always head over to this channel and check out the other videos I have posted currently. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this in the future. And stay tuned for my April reading wrap up at the end of this month, where you can hear my thoughts on all of these books we just picked. If you made it this far in the video, thank you guys so much for watching, and that's all for now. Bye guys.